You are already bending reality for the people around you, even when you don't notice it. Every time you enter a room, the atmosphere shifts. People become more open, more tense, more relaxed, more guarded, depending on the energy you carry. They think they're reacting to your words, your actions, your logic. But by the time you speak, the result has already been coded. Your internal state has silently decided how they will respond long before a single sentence leaves your mouth. You are not just a person doing things. You are a field. You broadcast what you are, and every person around you reads and responds to that broadcast, whether they're aware of it or not. Most people never wake up to this. They repeat the same mistake across generations, obsessing over techniques, scripts, and magic phrases, while staying completely blind to the one thing that actually controls everything: the state of consciousness behind those phrases. They think, if I just learn what to say, I'll finally be powerful, respected, successful. But who is the one saying the words? From which identity are those words coming? You're not just someone trying to influence others. Every person you meet is a mirror of your own unintegrated aspects. Until you see that, you're not creating a life. You're replaying an inherited program. Less than 1% of people operate from the level of awareness where they see that other people's chaos is just a reflection of their own unseen chaos. They understand that every trigger, every irritation, and every intense admiration is feedback from their own consciousness. The rest of the world is not really living. They are reenacting an unconscious script passed down by family, culture, trauma, and fear. That script determines who they think they are, what they believe they deserve, which doors they dare to knock on, and which doors they never even notice exist. The question is not, do you command reality? You already do. The question is, are you commanding it from a wounded identity or from your higher self? The difference between those who truly command reality and those who only pretend is brutal. The true 1% don't rely on empty formulas. They don't hide behind buzzwords, psychological hacks, or fragile personas. They understand one law. Real command comes from who you are being, not what you're saying. Neville Goddard said, "Consciousness is the only reality. Your self-concept builds the entire world you walk through." In practice, this means when your consciousness embodies the result you want as already real, people and circumstances tend to fall in line with that state. You don't beg. You don't chase. You don't convince. You radiate a reality so coherent that others simply step into it. Notice how the majority behaves. They hunt for lines. They dissect high performers and try to copy their phrasing, their gestures, their timing. They believe that if they clone the behavior, they will clone the outcome. But you can put the same words in two different mouths and get opposite results. One person speaks and the room locks in. Another speaks and the energy drops. Why? The first has fully assumed the state that matches their message. They are not talking about power. They are speaking from power. The second is wearing a costume. They imitate the outer behavior while internally drowning in doubt. Everyone feels the mismatch. Real command starts when you stop thinking about the state and start thinking from the state. You don't visualize confidence while still clinging to insecurity. You move into the identity of the one who is already confident, already chosen, already sufficient. That's what the feeling of the wish fulfilled really means. It is not childish pretending. It is the deliberate reconfiguration of the causal layer of reality, your consciousness. When you stabilize there, people don't experience you as someone trying to push them. They experience you as someone for whom the desired outcome is the most natural conclusion. Inside that field, resistance doesn't have much to stand on. But to reach that, your perception of people has to evolve. You cannot command what you still see as separate, broken, or beneath you. For most, there are 5 levels of perception, and they get stuck at the shallow ones. At the first level, you see people as fundamentally broken. Every behavior becomes pathology. She's shy, must be social anxiety. He's ambitious, must be compensating for inferiority. You become a walking diagnosis machine, analyzing and judging, placing yourself above others. That feels powerful, but it locks you into separation. What you call their flaws are often fragments of your disowned self. At the second level, you trade pathology for typology. You categorize people into boxes: this personality type, that archetype, this color, that profile. It feels more sophisticated. You believe that if you know someone's type, you can predict them, control them, manage them. But you're still dealing with static labels. You're still interacting with your model, not with the living consciousness in front of you. This keeps you in mental control, not energetic mastery. You see patterns, but you don't merge with the reality behind them. At the third level, you become data-driven. You see people as systems of observable behavior. You watch micro-expressions, track reactions, estimate probabilities, and build mental equations. This is useful. It strips away some emotional bias, but turns humans into objects to be analyzed. You gain precision, but lose resonance. You can predict how they'll move, but you don't feel why. Power without connection is always fragile. It works until it doesn't, and when it breaks, you have nothing deeper to hold the interaction. The fourth level is where things begin to shift in a real way. Here, you finally see the emotional engine behind behavior. You look beyond anger and see fear. You look beyond arrogance and see shame. You look beyond sabotage and see a nervous system addicted to failure because success feels unsafe. Compassion appears, not as a moral pose, but as a direct consequence of clarity. You understand that most people are not evil or stupid. They are wounded and operating from outdated survival codes. This changes how you deal with them. But this still isn't the final stage. The fifth level is where command starts to feel like a law of nature instead of a technique. At this level, everyone becomes a mirror. The arrogant man that irritates you reflects the arrogance you judge in yourself. The fearless woman you admire mirrors the courage you've buried. The traits in others that disturb you the most are often the traits you've refused to face in your own consciousness. Neville pointed to this when he said your relationship to others shapes who they seem to be for you. Change your assumption, and their truth shifts. That means your experience of people has never been neutral. It's your own state reflected back. Until you reach at least the fourth and start moving into the fifth level, you will keep trying to control people like external objects. You'll use tricks and tactics to move them around. But under that strategy is fear. Fear of being rejected, exposed, or powerless. True command appears when you consistently use every interaction as a mirror to refine your own state. Someone triggers you? You ask, "What is this showing me about me?" Someone shows you greatness? You ask, what part of me is being called higher? You stop fighting reflections and start adjusting the source. When you operate that way, your field becomes calmer, stronger, clearer. People sense it, not with their intellect, but with their body. They feel more grounded around you, more honest, more open. They say things like, I don't know why, but I trust you, or something about you feels different. That something is your state. It is the consciousness you've chosen and stabilized in. You are no longer trying to change them directly. You are holding a reality so steadily that they feel safer inside it than inside their old one. This is why copying scripts fails. Companies study their top salesperson, record their calls, break down every line, and then force everyone else to copy it. Performance drops. The magic words don't work. The real magic was never in the words. The top performer had already assumed at a deep level, I close. People buy from me. This is normal. The scripts were just the surface expression of that state. Put the script in a person who secretly believes, I annoy people. I'm an imposter. I probably won't close this. And the words turn to dust. The vibration behind them is wrong. The universe doesn't answer your vocabulary. It answers your frequency. You can say I am wealthy 1,000 times while vibrating lack, and life will keep confirming lack. You can say I am confident while every cell in your body remembers humiliation, and your nervous system will sabotage any situation where true confidence is required. Technique cannot override identity. Strategy cannot override state. Watch how a child behaves when they truly assume they're getting what they want. No persuasion course, no NLP, no books, just pure assumption. This is mine. Adults with money, authority, and logic bend. Why? Because the child's state is clean. There is no layered self-doubt, no inner conflict. That is raw command in primitive form. Your job is not to become childish, but to recover that level of inner certainty with full consciousness and responsibility. Confidence is not something you stack on top of insecurity. It's what remains when you stop believing your own stories of inadequacy. You don't build it by adding more and more behaviors. You reveal it by subtracting everything that blocks it. All the advice about posture, eye contact, voice tone, and body language is pointing at effects, not causes. When you truly remember who you are, consciousness expressing through a human form, your body adjusts naturally. Your posture opens because you're not bracing for attack. Your voice stabilizes because you're not begging for permission to speak. Your eye contact holds because you're not ashamed of being seen. Neville's formula, controlled imagination and sustained attention, was never about fantasizing randomly. It was about choosing a state, inhabiting it, and returning to it relentlessly until it becomes your new baseline. You experience in imagination what you wish to experience in reality, and you stay there. You let go of every inner narrative that contradicts it, not by fighting it, but by starving it. You stop rehearsing past failures. You stop worshiping your wounds as identity. Slowly, the old self loses power. When that happens, the things that look impossible from your old state become ordinary. Opportunities that used to feel out of your league start appearing as if they were always meant for you. People treat you as if you've always been that person. The reason is simple. You changed the core pattern of your consciousness. You stopped trying to decorate the prison and quietly walked out of it. The gap between you and those who genuinely command their reality is not talent, genetics, or luck. It's willingness. Willingness to let the old identity die. Willingness to stop hiding behind techniques and face the real question. Who am I deciding to be now? That decision is not a motivational slogan. It is a frequency shift. Once you commit, your only job is to remain faithful to that state when your old life tries to pull you back. Reality is not fixed. It feels fixed only to those who refuse to move internally. The moment you assume a new state and hold it, the world begins to rearrange in ways that match it. People who belong to that state will appear. People who don't will fade. Circumstances will bend, often in ways your rational mind could never have predicted. This is not magic. It's mechanics. Consciousness first, form second. Right now, you stand at the threshold. You can keep chasing more scripts, more tricks, more external validation. Or you can do the only thing that has ever actually worked. Become the command. Decide who you are. Assume it is already real. Think from it, speak from it, walk from it. When you slip, return to it. When reality contradicts it, hold it. When others doubt it, embody it even deeper. Command is not something you perform. It's something you are. When you stop outsourcing your power to techniques and stand in your own consciousness as the source, the game changes. People feel it. Reality reflects it. And the life you used to dream about slowly becomes the life you simply live.
You felt it your entire life, that there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me.